Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fitness Friday. Today, we're just going to have a fun chat about. I've had a few of you guys ask me what's been the hardest thing or what's the biggest thing that I've learned so far on my journey, and what I've done wrong, and what I've had to change in my routine to be able to reach the goals that I am trying to reach. And I've had a lot of those. And so I just want to have this be a great conversation to hopefully give you guys information that you're looking for. So I have Coach Idris that is joining me, and I'm going to play his intro. Coach Idris is a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer with 25 years experience. Idris specializes in women's fitness through NASM. He is a nutritional counselor, certified ENT, and LVN. He has worked helping hundreds of clients, from high school to professional athletes and housewives to CEOs of companies, to achieve their weight loss and fitness goals. He is the former 2002 Mr. USA bodybuilding champion with 20 years of competition history. An Air Force military veteran where he served in Desert Storm as a combat medic. Hello, Coach Idris. How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
You guys, we were just chatting. He just went to Florida and got to live it up last weekend. I'm super jealous.
Living like the youngsters. quite like an old rock star. Not a rock star, but an old rock star.
Hey, when you're an old rock star, you actually know how to live life, right? You do it right.
Actually, I have one of my old clients, Mickey Thomas from Jefferson Starship. He's one of my old clients, and he's still doing great. Voice is still great. He's like 70. How old is Mickey now? Let me see. He was 63 in 2013. So what is that? 10 years? 62, 72? He's still killing it. Still traveling and doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stuff like
cool. A cool story about him is when I trained him, when I moved out of Palm Springs, he lives in Palm Springs. When I was living out there, I left. I had a dinner, for a lot of my clients and friends when I was leaving to move to LA. And he stood up and gave a toast. And in his toast, he says, Idris built my confidence. And I was like, you've been a rock star since like 1972. And he's like, yeah, but I wasn't confident. He said, and through our training and stuff, he goes, you built my confidence. And I was like, wow. So that just goes to show you that just because you see somebody in a place, everybody thinks everybody's so confident. Well, I wish I had their confidence. You don't know. You do not know how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have people say stuff like that to me all the time because I love people. I love meeting new people. So that comes easy to me. But you and I were kind of talking about, and I'm a bit of an introvert. And so I think that kind of plays into my confidence level too a little bit. But through all this, I love just the fitness journey because it's really about the journey and figuring out how to love yourself, and not just about the fitness. It's just the mindset thing that we've talked about a few times, and changing the way that you feel about yourself because of the steps that you go through to get to that level.
Well, that's along the lines. I know you didn't mean to do a segue. It was an accidental segue. But that was a good segue. It's the mistakes that we make, people make with fitness, and so you actually are a good example of some of it. Like the way his confidence. This is what I do with everybody. I don't tell them I'm doing this. So maybe I shouldn't tell you. But the physical part and the eating is not that hard. All you got to do is do it.
Yeah.
The hard part is having success and then believing in yourself that you can do it. So what happens with all my clients that do what I tell them to do, actually follow and listen, is they start to see success with what they're doing. And success breeds what? Confidence. When you fail all the time, when you're dieting and you're not seeing results, when you're working out and not seeing results, how can you be confident? You can't. Yeah. So once you start seeing success and you start seeing this is working, then you start believing in your process, then you start believing in yourself. So
Yeah.
it's a snowball. It's a
Yeah.
snowball. So that's what he was talking about, and that's kind of what you're going to experience, and if you're not starting to experience it already.
Yeah, I mean, I last week I posted the first picture of me from the gym. I'm not one that I usually do that. So my confidence level is getting there, and I told everybody, well, that's the fourth time I've ever even worn like a sports bra and just leggings. Like I've just never had the confidence to do it, even though I don't feel like my body was in bad shape. It's just that this whole
It's not about that.
process changing. Yeah.
It's not about how bad or great your body is. It's about how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the greatest body to have confidence. You just got to like yourself to have confidence.
Yeah.
I tell you, I had a girl, Brenda. Brenda was awesome. She had a baby, and her and her girlfriend were working out together.
Mm-hmm.
And her girlfriend was thin. She was just thin, kind of. She needed to put some muscle on. Where Brenda was trying to lean out, and Brenda was always fit. She was always in fitness, but she had a baby, and she wanted to get it off.
Yeah.
So, but Brenda, they had different personalities, and I train people by their personality. I don't train people just like some people you got to hold their hands, some people you got to push, some people you got to deny, some people you got to cheer. Everybody's not the same.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm not the boot camp guy. I'm not the screamer. I'm not that guy. Some women scream at me. I'm like, I don't do that. That's just too weird.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm too big to be screaming at people. People be like, Jesus Christ, he's crazy.
You might get taken to jail at that point.
I had a client tell me, a little off subject a little bit. That was a tangent. I was training this client, and she was a waitress, and she went to work, and she was sore. Like her body was sore, her arms. And she was like, I guess, complaining about just, when you're sore, everything just hurts. And she said one of her coworkers was like, why are you so sore? What's wrong? She goes, I'm sore because my trainer, he kicked my butt. He trained so hard. She's like, well, why do you do what he says? She goes, when a big black guy tells you to do it, you just do it.
Exactly.
That was funny. But Brenda, she was losing weight. She was doing great. But her personality was one where I didn't want to give her compliments right away. I felt like, you know what, I'm not going to give her compliments. I'm just going to let her work until I had to. I looked, and her friend, I was giving compliments all the time.
Yeah.
Her friend was somebody I could see bailing out real quick. Like as soon as the going gets hard, she would have been out.
Yeah.
So I was always giving her compliments. And so one day Brenda comes in, and I'm like, Brenda, you're looking good. You're looking real good. She was like, it's about goddamn time.
She was working for that compliment.
I didn't even know it either. This is part of my maturation, understanding people. This is 20 years ago. But she's like, it's about damn time. She goes, you're always complimenting her. You ain't saying nothing to me. I go, you know what? I go, you know why I didn't say nothing to you? She's like, why? I said, because your head would have got too big. And she goes, yeah, you're right.
I love it.
So she comes in one day, like months after that, she was looking real good. And you could tell because first she was wearing sweats. Then it went from sweats to baggy clothes. Then it went from baggy clothes to shorts. And she just kept getting left. So one day she comes in, I go, Brenda, you're going to come here naked one day. Be easy now. You got to have clothes on in the gym. And that's what you're talking about. So the more confident she got, the more she wanted to, show her stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I like when people get like that because there's a lot of you women bash each other for showing your stuff. And I'm a promoter of that because if you're showing your stuff, that means you're proud of yourself. Exactly. And why should I have a problem with someone else showing that they're proud of themselves? I don't get that.
Yeah, my husband and I actually started a group probably in November. He started the group and it was called Embrace the Suck. And it was a group that was just about those who are wanting to get in the best shapes of their life and being able to put it all out there so that we could help motivate each other and just be proud of each other. Because I think you kind of get afraid of posting a picture or posting anything about what you're doing fitness wise, because you have all these people, friends and family even, who aren't going to support you in it. And they're going to think bad things about you. And that stops you. Right. And I'm getting to the level now where I don't care what people think about me, because this is my journey. This is what I want for me, for my family, for the rest of my life. And I actually joined this bodybuilding group on Facebook, and I don't know how many times I've seen them tell people about how their families are not being supportive and how they're making fun of them.
Husband, what did I tell you that I was happy that your husband was involved in what you do. I always tell people with couples, especially, I'd rather train both people together, because
Mhm.
now they're both doing the same journey. When one person's doing it, one person's not. One person's bringing home pizza while the other one's trying to diet. One person's it's hard, and I see it all the time. Co-workers, what are you doing? Why are you working out? I had one girl told me, she was like, my co-workers are like, you're old, you're supposed to be fat.
What?
I was like, only a woman would say that. Only a woman would say it's okay to be fat. You're old. Like, what?
Oh no.
I can't believe you told somebody that, and I can't believe you actually believe that. And
That's
she,
so
and then when
crazy.
she lost the weight, it was, oh, what are you doing? What are you eating? And I told her, I said, no, it's going to turn from hate to can you help me? And it always does. And she was
Yeah.
like, yeah, now they want me to help her. I said, don't help them now. Don't help them, little skinny heathens. Don't help those little heathens. I said, make them pay. I said, you're paying me, make them pay me. Don't give them free advice now. They didn't like you. They were hating on you 10 minutes ago. So
Exactly.
that's normal. That's normal.
Yeah. I actually finally had to have a talk with my kids because they've been watching me do this whole process. And I am eating my salads at night instead of regular dinner with them. And I still try to cook a pretty healthy dinner for them, but kids don't want to eat salad for dinner every night.
Mhm.
So there was one night that we had pizza, and my girls were walking around like right up into my face, like with a slice of pizza, and they're just like letting the cheese like hang down their face and everything. And I'm like, guys, I just want you guys to know that this is something that really is important to me, and it's a goal that I'm trying to reach. I know you guys like to make fun of me and have these
Yeah,
jokes,
you actually think this is funny, and it's not.
but it's something real for me, and I would appreciate your support.
You
And
respect
ever
people.
since that,
People, because people don't think. I don't know why people take it personal when someone else is trying to do something. It
yeah,
this is the remarkable thing. No one would do that with alcohol. No one would do that with drugs.
it's
No
crazy.
one would do that with cigarettes. So why are you doing it with food?
Exactly.
Nobody would sit there and go, "Ooh, don't you wish?" Ooh, right? They wouldn't do that.
Mm-mm.
That's true. But with food, for some reason, food is this thing that if you're not, I've had clients say, they got to stop. They get stopped, and people will stop inviting them to their dinners because they don't eat the food that. I'm like, then don't go. I don't mind shrinking my crowd. Okay, I have a very small circle because my circle is either going to be good for me or then that's not going to be in my circle.
Yeah.
I'll have a circle of 3 if that's what I got to have. you know,
Yeah, you gotta have people who are gonna lift you up, and you can lift up with you. And when you have people tearing you down all the time and not supportive, and I mean, I am lucky that my husband wants to be on this journey with me, because he's been eating salads with me this whole time, and it's made it easier, and we both feel healthier for it. So,
I always say, "What's he going to lose weight? Get a 6 pack from it? Oh, that would suck." Oh, yeah, my stomach is flat. And I got a 6 pack. Oh, that sucks.
right?
That's the only thing that's going to happen.
We need to make a commercial, like one of those info commercials about drugs, and it would be all the side effects are like a 6 pack, bulging muscles. I used to listen to those late at night after like a late night movie, and I used to laugh at like one of them said something about you may bleed to death. And I'm thinking, why would you want the chance of possibly bleeding to death? You must be in a lot of pain for you to be like, bleeding to death is a good option. It could, I don't
Well,
mind that.
I've had, I was shooting a film once and we had a meeting, we had this, table and we were having lunch. I think we were having lunch or we were doing a table read. I can't remember. But one of the women, the producer, the director was asking me some questions and he was like, yeah, Dries, I need to talk to you a little bit about, fitness and, I need to get in shape. And this woman, and it's so funny when people feel guilty about their lives, you don't even have to be talking to them. They just jump into the conversation because you can tell it's making them feel a certain way. I
Yeah.
always, a friend of mine used to call it, if the slipper fits Cinderella, if the slipper fits. So you could be saying, yeah, don't you hate when people blah blah blah? The person over here, that's not true. Oh, what? Didn't know I was talking to you. Oh, my bad. I didn't know I was talking about you.
Yep.
So he asked about that, and she goes and she starts talking about sacrifice. She says, I don't want to sacrifice, and and when you do this for as long as I have, you hear every excuse, and you have to have answers for me. That's why I have an answer for everything, because you have to get legitimate answers that are irrefutable. Because a
Yeah.
lot of my answers before, people would have another response to it. And I was like, okay, I gotta have responses that are irrefutable, that they just gotta stop in their tracks.
Yeah.
So when people say sacrifice, I'm like, what are you sacrificing by eating healthy? You're sacrificing cardiovascular disease. You're sacrificing diabetes. You're sacrificing obesity.
That's
You're,
amazing. I love that.
you're sacrificing all the diseases that you don't want to have by eating those foods. How is that? You're sacrificing your health when you eat those foods.
Yeah.
And when you don't eat those foods, nothing bad. I've never had a person complain about losing 20 pounds. I've never had a person go, Idris, I never wanted to look this good. I am so pissed right now. I've never had that. This sucks. I did not mean to fit into this size 4 like this. It's so funny when people find reasons to come up. They find excuses that they own, but what they also do is, most people do that. Most people join up and they say, yeah, you're right. That's the way. You're right. You're right. And then I come along going, nah, not really. Now I'm the oddball.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that with everything. That's why I always tell, gang mentality is not good. Gangs all get together and agree to do something. And at the end of the day, it's like, you're going to really rob a bank? That's really not a good idea. So when everybody, I tell everybody, when everybody agrees, I back out and go, okay, what am I doing here? Because everybody's agreeing to this. And most of the time there's one leader and a bunch of followers.
Yeah.
And we can go into history with Jim Jones and we can, 900 and something people decide to kill themselves, right? So
yeah.
So we can go and show you how gang mentality is pretty crazy. So when everybody's agreeing with you, you might want to step back and go, am I really making the right decision? Too many people think this is a good decision,
Well, I think that some of the cool or the great feedback that I've been getting a lot of questions, and I think they kind of play into what our subject is about today. And I have a lot of people asking me, what it is that I've learned that was different than what I had been doing before. And I have a lot of those, actually. And I kind of want to play into it in a way that I've had comments to me from other people. One being, okay, wait, I got a message from Chris. Hey, let me
Chris in the house.
Let's bring that up.
I love Chris. She's awesome.
Okay, one excuse I heard from a lady for not wanting to lose weight was that her wrinkles would show more if she was thin.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And there's also, a lot of people they think of weight loss, they don't think of fat loss. And yeah, when you have a thin face, you have a narrow face. So there is a point where you will start to look drawn. So, but you can always fix that with eating some potatoes, eating a carb, eating a slice of pizza. You can actually fill your face out overnight. It takes forever to get down, but it don't take long to go back up.
So next time I eat a piece of pizza, I'm gonna be like, Idris, I was looking too thin in my face, so I had a pizza.
And I'm gonna be like, I see. You don't have to tell me. I was gonna ask you, did you have some pizza? Because I notice every change on clients. Like, they don't realize. Like, they're like, how did you tell? I'm like, when I see a difference, either I'm like good or I'm like, I may not know what it is, but I know that's how I feel when I see you.
Yeah.
So I can tell when a person's losing weight the wrong way. And normally when it comes to that, it's because you're losing it the wrong way. You're losing it too fast, or you just, I'm sorry, but some people just have drier skin. They wrinkle a little easier,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But we're talking, really small. We're not talking, if you're 40 pounds overweight, don't worry about that. If you're 10 pounds over what you think, and also, I hate the word overweight. Where you look your best should whatever weight that is.
Yeah.
Whatever weight that is. You don't have to lose weight. Like my ideal weight, according to the books, is 175, 180 pounds.
Wow.
I would look so sick if I was 100. That's basically 100 pounds I'd have to lose.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd look. I don't think I'd.
You skinny.
Oh my God! You'll be like this. Oh, poor Dries. He's dying. He's dying.
That's when I'd be like ordering pizzas and sending them to your house.
Yeah. I'd be the doorbell ringing, DoorDash, Uber Eats, DoorDash. They all at the front door. Feed him. Yeah, but that's what the book says, because it doesn't account for body fat, doesn't account for lifting, doesn't account for none of that stuff. So don't get caught up, guys. Don't get caught up in the scale and what the scale does. Look in the mirror, get down to where you are. If you want to get your inches down to a size, whatever size you were at full grown when you were 20 years old, 19, 20, that's pretty much the same size you're always going to be. You can put weight on top of it, but your bones, that's where your bones are. Yeah. The skeleton ain't growing. As soon as you stop growing skeleton-wise, that's it.
Yeah. And you know what? That actually kind of plays into one of the topics that one of my friends talked to me about a few weeks ago. And that was her just saying, I'm afraid to lift weights because she thinks that when she lifts weights, she's going to become this competition fit body, right? And I think that's a huge misconception for women and why they believe that. I've heard that so many times.
I wish it was that easy. Oh my God. Like I tell people, if I showed you the video of how I got where I got, you would be exhausted just watching the video. You would be like, you know what? I ain't doing none of that. All the eating that you have to do, and we're talking overeating, because you can't get muscular without overeating. Lifting weights don't make you muscular. I don't know why people don't understand. When you're lifting weights, you're expending energy, you're burning calories. Burning calories, everyone knows, equates to weight loss. So when you're in a gym lifting,
I didn't know that actually. That was never something that I knew. And I think that's what people have a hard time with, right? Is they never learned that building muscle is actually going to help your metabolism and help you to actually do better.
But the lifting part, let's just talk about the lifting part, because the misunderstanding is with the lifting. Okay. If I lift weights, I'm gonna build big muscle. No, you can't. It's biologically and physically impossible to get bigger by expending energy. Because when you lift weights, you expend energy. Yeah. Right? When you work out, you don't come out of there feeling fresh. You come out of there feeling drained. So when you're in there, the whole process is tear down. You're tearing down muscle.
Yeah.
Muscle doesn't get bigger without food. Muscle doesn't get bigger without food.
Did you hear that, you guys? You have to eat a lot of food, a lot of the right food.
A lot of food.
To
get, because you're getting bigger. Things are larger. Your muscle is larger. So if your muscle is larger, you don't get larger because you're lifting, because you're tearing the muscle down in the gym. When you go home, that's when it all matters. So a lot of women, and I guarantee you somebody right now is saying this because I've heard it before. And if you're out there, say something. They're gonna be like, damn, how do you know? I did lift weights and I got bigger because you were eating more because you got hungrier.
Yeah.
Because people get hungry when you lift. Aren't you hungrier now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're hungrier, what does that mean? Your metabolism is higher.
Yeah.
Okay. Your metabolism is higher means what? You're burning calories more efficiently. Burning calories makes you do what? Lose weight. But you're not going to lose weight if you're overeating or eating the wrong foods.
Yeah, so that was actually really huge for me when I was doing CrossFit, because my sister and I got really big into CrossFit.
and our muscles were getting bigger, but we were also just getting bigger everywhere else also.
Is that how you were eating?
Yeah, that was a huge part of it that we
You
just didn't
eating,
think
you
about.
eating salads and fish, you wouldn't have got bigger. Because
Yeah.
salads and fish can't. The reason that those foods work, the foods that I have you eating, the reason they work is because they don't put on muscle mass. They make the muscle you have. We're only eating enough protein to support the muscle you want.
Yeah.
So if a person's like, when I was trying to get bigger, I ate double my body weight in protein. That's why I eat 3 pounds of chicken every day, because
Wow.
I had to eat 300 to 350 grams of protein a day because I was trying to build big muscle. When you contest prep, you pull all of that out and then you lose weight, but you're still lifting the same way. So when bodybuilders are losing 30 pounds to get on stage, our training never changes.
Isn't that
We're
crazy,
still-
you guys? That is crazy. That's
We're
like
still
such a
lifting the
huge
same
concept. I
work.
love.
We're lifting the same weight. Only thing that changes is we can't lift as heavy because we lose weight. So let's say you can do 400-pound bench when I was, my biggest, I'd be 285. I can bench 500. But when I got down to 240, 250, and 255, I couldn't lift that weight no more. But I still lifted as heavy as I could.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, that muscle that you built is going to go away, because the muscle's like, well, I'm gonna be this large because of the food that you're giving me and the way you're training. I'm going to lose the same way. So once you start pulling those calories out, pulling those carbs out, pulling that glucose out, I can't build like that anymore. Now we're just trying to hang on to the muscle. So when we start our pre-contest, our goal is to not lose what we built in the off season when we were trying to grow. It's trying to maintain and hold on to it. So tell me, I'll ask you a question and we can go from there. What did you learn about, like we did some pulses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The intensity. What did you learn about the different types of intensity that I taught you?
I have been sharing that with everybody because I think it's something that I've missed completely in so many workouts. And I definitely got a whole lot more sore with all of my workouts. I started incorporating it with all of my workouts. And
Everything.
I just did my new booty workout that I've been doing, and I did the pulses. Oh, hell, guys, that was intense. I was feeling it, and I wanted to cry while I was doing it. But
and what's the difference? I know what it is, but I'm going to see if you can explain it. There's a difference on how you feel after the workout when you train this way. What's the difference that you feel? As far as muscular or skeletal, because some people notice their muscles hurt and not their bones and not their joints. They feel the muscle more.
So I definitely feel a pump in my muscles, but I don't really necessarily feel sore anywhere till the next day. Then the next day, all of a sudden, my muscles are on fire, and I want, like, during the workout though, I definitely feel a more pumped feeling by doing it that way.
Yes. And do you notice that you're more depleted at the end of the workout?
Yeah.
Like you feel, it's called being flat. Your muscles are flat. What happens is when you go into a workout, okay, I don't think we talked about this. When you lift weights, you have to lift weights with food in your body. Okay, a lot of people like to lift on an empty stomach. Not a good idea, because the muscles need glycogen to pump. To get a pump, you need glycogen stored in the muscle. When you work out, you deplete the muscle of glycogen. When you do cardio, on the other hand, you don't want any glycogen. You want stored body fat to be utilized. So when you work out, if you work out on an empty stomach, your body's using stored fat, but the stored fat can't be utilized properly because stored fat can't get used at a low heart rate. It has to be a higher heart rate. And when you work out, your heart rate goes up and down. When you do cardio, it stays up.
Yeah.
So keeping your cardio high for an extended period of time works better on stored fat, while working out uses glycogen for the pump. So when you work out, you want to deplete all of the glycogen that you have stored up during your lifting.
Yeah.
So that's why you feel more depleted, because what those pulses are doing is just a form of increasing the intensity. Let's say your body has, I'll just say this much energy in it. You want it gone before you finish that exercise. You want it all gone. So you want to leave one machine to the next one going, okay, I'm done with that. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. Every time you finish a group of exercises, you should feel like, okay, I'm ready to move on. If you still feel like you have something to give, you ain't ready to move on.
I love that.
That's how you make improvements. Because the biggest, we're talking about mistakes people make, is they don't train hard enough. They think they are. I did when I used to train pretty heavy, pretty hard until I met somebody that taught me this. And I was like, whoa, that was a whole nother level for me. And I was winning. I was already doing great in bodybuilding. I hadn't won one. I would do well, but I never won until I learned this. Then I started winning. Yeah.
Yeah, after I did my booty workout like all week, I was like, I couldn't even sit on one side or the other. I was like, I need a donut. I don't know.
I'm just gonna lay.
I totally, even in the car when we had to drive places, I just had to keep rotating, and I'm like, oh, this is hurt so good though.
Let me ask you this: what did you notice about any changes that you noticed about the form when we talked about changing your form, posture?
Yeah, I definitely, one of the things you were saying was being able to make sure that you focus on that muscle group, whatever it is you're doing, so that you can really make sure you're feeling it there and you have the right posture and everything so that you can feel it in the right place. And I think that's made a huge difference, because I think there were a lot of workouts I was doing where I was not working the muscle I thought I was working because of the way my posture was, the way that I wasn't focusing in on those muscles and even holding things tight, even when I'm working a different muscle, making sure my core is tight, like huge. So I've been really trying to focus on my muscle groups and which ones I'm supposed to feel the burn in instead of just whatever I get from it.
Right, and that's another mistake a lot of people make. Is I've had people in the past, they'll say, I've had guys go, Idris, I can't get my biceps. I'm working my biceps, but they won't grow. And I'm like, let me watch you. And they're lifting and they're doing this. Right? And I'm like, well, I bet your lower back is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. How'd you know? I'm like, that's the only thing you're working right now. So a lot of people don't realize that they're using momentum. They're not they don't actually, remember I told you, think about the muscle, actually think about the muscle.
Yeah.
Like if you're supposed to feel it here, every single rep, you should feel it here.
Mm-hmm.
I would train, when I train people, a lot of them go, I think you might've realized, I never thought so much. Like I didn't know I was supposed to be thinking about all of this stuff. I'm like, yeah. That's why when people say I don't like the music in the gym, I'm like, how do you even hear the music in the gym? Like this is back in the day before everybody was wearing headphones.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even hear the music. Like I'm thinking about my chest up, shoulders back, abs tight. Am I feeling it here? Did I feel that rep? Where's my elbows? Am I feeling it? I'm thinking about all this stuff as I'm doing my set. Was that rep harder than the last rep? Because every rep, it should get harder, not easier.
Yeah.
I'll have people lifting, right? And they'll go 8, 9, 10, and then they'll be like 11, 12. I'm like, where'd that come from? You barely got 10. And all of a sudden, this burst of energy came. Where did that come from? You had to change something for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Something had to change because you were just about done.
Yeah.
So, you see what I mean? So when you find all of a sudden, you can get a burst of energy when the set is done, when you're resting, but how can you get a burst of energy in the middle of the set?
Yeah.
You can't because every rep is depleting. What happens when you lift weights is you lose. The reason that they say breathing is so important is because oxygen is what gives the muscle strength. Oxygen. So when you lift, every time you do a rep, you're depleting that muscle of oxygen. Towards the end of the set, there's hardly any left. That's why when you do a set and you want to get extras, I'll tell people, okay, push out, hold and breathe. Breathe again. Now get one. Boom. Stop. Breathe again. Now get one. Boom. If they was to keep going, they would just run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
So the more depleted the muscle is, the more fatigued the muscle becomes. So that's why the rest in between is important. And that's why the rest on the days off are important.
Yeah.
And the food is important because the food and the rest are both about recuperation, not just the sleep, not just the food. Together, they create recovery. Yeah. That's why the food is so important because you're not going to recover from these workouts. And when you work out for real, like what you're doing now, when you're really putting the work in, you have to recover from it for you to have progress and be successful.
Yeah. And I think we kind of going back to what you're talking about with the cardio earlier, one of the things that people I think don't understand, and we've kind of hit on it a little bit here and there, is a lot of people will do cardio thinking that it will help them have more muscle tone. And you have a video, it's called like, what is it, Cardio Queens or something like that. I think everybody needs to go to his page and watch that. I mean, it is amazing. But do you want to touch on that and what the misconceptions there are there?
Yeah, cardio is what we use in bodybuilding as the last resort to get rid of body fat. Okay, we use diet and training first, and then as you get closer to the contact, because we're getting body fat down to ridiculous numbers. So, but we still understand why we're doing it. Cardio eats up muscle. Okay, it doesn't spare muscle, and muscle is what creates a metabolism. That's why a lot of women who all they do is cardio and they do yoga. Not that anything is bad, but you're not going to get the results you're looking for doing that. You're not going to have a toned body if you don't have muscle, because muscle creates tone. You don't shape body fat, you shape muscle. Body fat just goes away and comes back, but there's no shape to it. Like if you took body fat and put it on the table, it would just, if you put a muscle on the table, it will sit there. So when you're doing all this cardio and you're not lifting weights to complement it, to keep the muscle, you're chipping away at your muscle. And most people do too much or too hard, because only 60% of your max burns body fat. Once you start going up to 80, you're burning muscle. Okay, that's why athletes, runners, baseball players, all these, that's why they have an off season. Because during the season, they beat up their muscle. And then in the off season, they recover when they get to rest. Okay. So all that cardiovascular, the basketball players do all of that. By the time, that's why, somebody like LeBron James, he has been playing, like this is the first year, I think he didn't make the playoffs, or second year. He's playing to the end of the season almost every single year for 20 years.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why Kobe and Michael Jordan, all of them just, at his age, they all fell apart. But he is in an era where there's way more technology, cryotherapy, cupping. There's so many more techniques to keep an athlete going now than in the past. So he's using, I think LeBron James spends $1 million to $2 million a year just on his body and recovering from workouts and eating and stuff, because it's that huge, it's that important. So for people like us, just want to be in shape, it still applies. Yeah. I was telling people, why do you, I said, do you think that what I did is any different than what you have to do? The only difference between you and me is I took it all the way to a professional level. You got to do the same thing. You're just not going to go that far.
Yeah.
You're going to just take it to where you're happy, but it's the same process. Like muscle builds for a certain reason. Fat goes away for a certain reason. Carbs work on you this way. Protein works on you this way. Fats work on you. That's still the same. All that's still the same. And that's the hard part, is it's not easy. People really, I go, if it was easy, everybody would look great. Every single person that you see in the gym, you'd be like, damn, everybody looks good in there. Everybody doesn't look great in the gym because it's really that difficult.
Yeah.
It's really that difficult.
And I think for me, when I have done tons of cardio, is I thought, okay, I got to do all this cardio so that I can lean down and see that muscle tone, right? But that's like one of the big things that I learned from you is just the fact that me leaning down, I don't have big enough muscles that I lean out down enough to be able to see. And then if I'm going to do cardio enough to where it's going to take away from my muscle, I'm actually doing the opposite of what I want.
You see, I haven't even told you to do cardio.
Yeah.
I haven't even told you to do cardio. Your body type, you can't do cardio yet. Like I had a girl, Kelly, and I'll put Kelly's video out, and I'll tag you on it, and anybody else wants to. Kelly was one of these skinny fat people where she was always thin, always. I've known her for years. And then one day I was living in Palm Springs when I knew her. And then out here, I put a video up on visceral fat, and she saw it, and she was like, Idris, can we talk? I've been training for years, and I'm trying to get lean, and I just get softer and softer. I said, yeah, because you're doing this cardio and dieting. I said, you're not doing any, I said, you're lifting, but you're not lifting with purpose.
Yeah.
And you're not eating enough. So I put her on that. I think I told you I had her eating way more food than she ever thought she could eat. She could barely get the food in. and all she did was get leaner and harder and more tone. And we just, like a balloon that's flat. I just pumped the muscle up with food in training. I changed the way she trained, and I changed the way she ate. And I put food in so that her muscles would pump up. And then what happened was is that space between the skin and the muscle got smaller and smaller and smaller. So now we had before where she had an arm this big, only this much of it was muscle. Now her arm was the same size, but this much of it was muscle.
Wow.
And that's what we're doing with you. Your size isn't going to change. It's just underneath is going to change.
Yeah, and I actually have noticed that a lot lately. Like I've been doing like the pinch test that we talked about, and
pinching less and less.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It gets exciting. Actually, that's because I don't see really what I look like in 3D every day, all day, right? So
we can see it better than you can.
Yeah.
You see yourself every single day, and you're like looking for change. You're like,
totally. I constantly am like looking for it. And even though like I feel like I'm looking better, I just can't. My brain can't wrap my head around the fact that what I'm doing is actually causing this, right?
Right.
And so that pinch test, I mean, even when I went to the gym, even this last time, I was looking at my skin in my stomach when I was doing some workouts.
Do you want to see some little veins in there?
Well, yeah, so you can start to see some of my muscles, but the crazy thing to me was that my skin was wrinkling in a different way because of how much my fat has shrunk down in my stomach. And I've never had that happen to me before.
Because fat cells hold water, and when they shrink, it's a weird process, and it's kind of gross a little bit. But when your fat cells shrink, the skin takes a minute to shrink with it.
Yeah.
So you have this moment where you have this loose kind of skin that you can kind of grab and
yeah.
And it's kind of weird. It's like, ugh! But it's because the water is still there, and that water has to get released. So like when you compete in bodybuilding, it's really weird because you'll be down 30 pounds and your skin will just hang over your belt buckle, like hang over my band on my underwear. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" but when I felt it, I could feel the fat cells in between my fingers and the skin. Like you're not gonna get that low.
Yeah.
But when you get down into when you get down to 5 and 4, you can actually feel fat cells.
Wow.
You rub them together between your fingers under the skin.
That is gross.
It's pretty weird. And then 2 weeks later, when you start eating again, gone. Nice and thick again.
No, that's the crazy part because I have never had that happen to me before. And so I have noticed that, and I'm just like, that is such a big change. But I think that all kind of plays into, it all just kind of plays into exactly what I'm doing. And I'm actually building the muscle and feeding the muscle instead of just tearing away from it and taking away from it. And
I'm glad you're noticing these things, because this is what I'm always asking my clients: are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? Do you notice that you're hotter now? Do you notice at nighttime it's hotter under the covers? You end up putting the ceiling fan on, kicking the sheet off, sticking a leg out the sheet.
Well, my husband has my house as an ice box, so I still freeze.
He's freezing you out anyway. How about? Do you notice that you're hungrier?
Yeah, yesterday I felt like I was starving all day long, actually, and that's the first time I've ever had that. So that was crazy. And my husband's like, "Oh, so Coach Idris is right, telling you that this is going to happen, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, I got a few people right now going through that. They're like, "I am hungry all the time," and I'm like, "Eat." That's what when people talk about they love to eat, right? I love food. I love to eat. I'm like, good, because you're going to be eating a whole lot of food, but not the food you think you're going to be eating.
And I think that's another misconception that people have, right? Is
think you're starving yourself.
Yeah, I eat way more than I did before, and I'm losing weight. And then every time I weigh myself in the morning, I'm thinking, I don't know how this is possible, because I just ate like way more food yesterday.
I ate like 6 meals yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Remember I told you Kelly was like, "How can I eat all this food and not gain weight?" I had her eating a lot of food, and she couldn't even eat it all the first 3 or 4 days. She couldn't even eat it all. She was just like, I gave her 5 meals. She only ate 3. And then finally she got to 5 meals and her weight never changed. She stayed the same weight for 12 weeks. And all she did was get tighter and firmer and firmer and firmer. All we did was just build up muscle. And that, I'm going to be honest with you, that's without tooting my own horn, that's no nutrition. That's not something it's easy to figure out. Like, you're going to witness it because I'm helping you. But that's something that you learn over time of making mistakes and doing it. I've been doing this for so long, and I did it on myself for so long. So that's not easy to do. It's hard to figure out which carbs to use, how much to use, how much protein. Like when you see a person, like when I look at you, I'm like, okay, I don't see any muscle tone. So, but I see, like, what did I tell you from day one? If I just took the fat off you, you'd be so skinny, you'd be miserable. You'd hate it. So I haven't tried to take any fat off you. What I'm doing is building muscle and letting that muscle take the fat off you just by natural occurrence. Because when you eat the right way and you train the right way, the body's going to take that fat anyway. It's going to just do it. So I'm not attacking your fat with cardio. I'm attacking your fat with diet and lifting.
Yeah.
No, that does that. I mean, that's kind of what I get. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Is I take that away from your, because that's something you'll never be able to figure out.
Yeah.
That's why these diets online, a big mistake people make is they think they can pull something off the internet.
Yeah.
I'm like, that diet has nothing to do with your gender, has nothing to do with your age, has nothing to do with what you're doing in the gym, has nothing to do with your ethnicity, has nothing to do with your bone structure, has nothing to do with you. It's just good luck. Hope it works. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we've talked before about how like paleo diets, I've done those many times, and that's what I've usually used in the past to get lean. But you're right, I get tired whenever I go to work out, and it was really hard to work out and have energy throughout the day by doing those diets.
I had an ex-girlfriend call me not too long ago, and she's like, I'm dieting, and I'm putting weight on, and as I get older, and she's always worked out, but she's getting older, and she's like, slowly I'm putting on a couple pounds a year, and I went on this diet, and she sent me the diet, and I looked at it, and I text back, you have got to be starving. And she was like, shoot, the other day I couldn't even go to the gym. She goes, I had to eat something. I was like, oh my God. I said, this is not gonna. And she goes, and it ain't working. I'm like, of course this ain't working. I said, they're starving you. I said, this isn't designed for you. I don't know who this is designed for, but it's designed for you. You can't work out. And a lot of those diets that they put up, if a diet, that the HCG diet, which I cannot stand, but a lot of people do it. If they tell you that doing this diet, you cannot work out, do not work out, don't do the diet.
Yeah.
Because they're basically saying you ain't going to have any energy doing this.
Yeah.
So don't go to the gym because you'll probably pass out. And you'll probably go hypo in the gym and pass out.
Yeah.
No diet should tell you can't exercise while you do it. That is a horrible idea. And if you're eating and dieting and you're miserable, it's not going to work because you're not going to keep doing it. No one's going to do something that makes them miserable. And I'm not talking about, I want to eat pizza. That's not the misery I'm talking about. I'm talking about you eat and you're looking around like, I don't have energy for this. I'm grumpy all the time. Because when you notice this, the only time you're grumpy is right before it's time to eat. But once you eat, you're fine.
Yeah, we get hangry at my house. So when somebody's hangry, we got to eat. So
and that's when you're supposed to eat. Most people, that's another mistake people make, is they don't actually know when to eat. You eat when you're hangry. When that blood sugar is low, you're supposed to eat. Most people eat because they think they're hungry or they feel hungry. No, that's not when you eat. You eat when you know you're hungry. And that's when the stomach is like talking, when the stomach is really talking. And then you have to eat a certain way, certain amount, a certain portion size. And then it happens again. And it shouldn't take all day. It should happen within 2.5 to 3 hours. Yeah. If it's taking 4 hours for a meal to process, that means your metabolism is slow. Either you ate too much or your metabolism is just slow and it needs to build. Now, most people, if they don't have any thyroid issues or anything like that, I can change around. I can speed their metabolism up in a couple of days just by how I feed them.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem, that might change. That might not be the case. I had a girl that had a thyroid problem. Once we got the meds right, she lost all the weight.
Wow.
And a lot of people who think they have thyroid problems don't.
There's all these excuses out there, right? They're like, oh, it's probably my thyroid, or I have to sacrifice all this food. Like everything we've talked about, like those are just excuses that people make so they don't have to put in the work, right?
I had a girl, Allison. I love Allison. I would train her for like a 35 and over contest and 40. And she looked great. She reminds me of you a little bit. Y'all have the same kind of frame a little bit. When we first started, I looked at her skin and I was like, your skin is thick. I said, you got to cut the dairy out. You drink too much dairy. She was like, what? She goes, no. Thick skin runs in my family. I'm like, first of all, nobody runs in your family. She's like, shut up. But I said, no. It's your diet. About 6 weeks later, when her skin thinned out and she was like, I guess, I'm like, you didn't know. She's like, and then we still laugh at that. Was like 25. We still laugh at that. She's like, remember I said it runs in my family? We all have thick skin in my family. Yeah, because you all eat the same food.
Yeah, I used to use that excuse when I was younger because I always played sports when I was younger. And so and most of my friends were way littler than I was. They were smaller in size, and I did build muscle a little bit faster, but I also ate a lot more when I was younger, right? And so I would say stuff like that all the time, be like, yeah, I think I'm big boned, right?
Yeah, big bone. I would say it's a big bone hanging over your belt there. I ain't no bones hang like that. The bones hang? I ain't no bones hang.
You need to drink less milk. Your bones are hanging.
Oh, yeah, way too much. You got extra bones.
But it's true. We all make those excuses, right? At different points in time. And it's whatever will get us past having to make the decision, having to make the choice to really say, I'm ready to do this. Because it really does take that mindset. And I know I talk about this all the time, but that's been huge for me because I tried to do it for so many years. And all of a sudden now, like I can actually have my mind right to do it and actually put the work in, because 5 years ago I wouldn't have been able to do this.
I was talking to somebody this morning about that, and I say, the same people that complain, like people say, oh, I can't lose weight, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, exercise doesn't work for me, all of these things that they say. And I'm like, well, that person over there that lost 200 pounds, they said that too, until they stopped saying that.
Yeah.
Every person that has lost, I'm telling you right now, anyone that has lost over 50 pounds has had to make a big change in their life.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do it, to lose 50 pounds. Now, if you're like me, at bodybuilding, we're planning it. But if it's just, through life, you just happen to get over 50 pounds, 60 pounds, to lose it, you have to make a change. And I'm not talking about going to have lap band surgery. That's not a change. I'm talking about somebody who actually did the work, worked it off, changed their lifestyle. That's hard. Changing your life. You know why changing your lifestyle is so hard? First of all, there's a big lie out there. It takes 21 days to change a habit. Lie. That is the biggest lie ever. Okay. I had clients that kept their weight off for 6 years, and the minute I moved out of Palm Springs, they put it back on. Yeah, some of them, because they never changed their mind.
Yeah.
They changed their habit, and they had to answer to me. So as long as they were answering to me, they had a reason. Once I left, they didn't have nobody to answer to anymore. So they have to change. You have to actually change your mind and make a decision. This is how I'm doing things going forward. I'm not doing those things anymore. An alcoholic has to do that. The same thing, drugs and alcohol, cigarettes. Everybody looks at those afflictions and they all get that.
Yeah.
Just like with cheating, when people say, well, I get a cheat day. I'm like, I don't know. Do alcoholics get a cheat day?
That's an awesome way of looking at it. I've never really thought about it that way.
I don't think the 10th step is a shot of whiskey. Do I get a shot on Saturdays? Of course you do, Bill. No, you don't. Because that's alcohol is your problem. Food is your problem. So since food is your problem, I'm not giving you cheat days.
Yeah.
Now, once you establish a change in your lifestyle and you're doing things the right way, and you're in shape, now if you do a little slice of pizza, it's not going to affect you that bad because you're not the same person, and it's not going to keep calling you. Right now, it's calling you. I have to take that equation. I have to take that out of the equation. It's just
you don't
real.
want to relapse and eat 5 pizzas instead of just a slice.
Yeah,
right?
it's too easy. It's too easy to relapse with food because everyone's around you eating. Everywhere people are eating.
And you don't have it in your head that it's really bad for you, like alcohol or drugs, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's just, I mean, honestly,
right?
it's
But with
like,
food,
come on,
it's a lot of political areas out there.
Here's the funny part. It's just a slice of pizza. I mean, it really just is a slice of pizza. However, it's not with you.
Yeah.
With you, it's more than just a slice of pizza. Because what it is this. I love pizza. I love pizza. I can't tell you the last time I had a slice. Because I know what that does. I know where that takes me. So when I'm in great shape, you'll see me get my slice of pizza. Like right now, I'm trying to drop. I dropped about 4. I'm going to drop another 6 or 7 because I just want to. I want to feel a certain way. I'm not doing that stuff because I'm trying to get to a certain place. Once I'm at my place and I'm good, and I'm like, okay, now I can go ahead and do something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't play games with food. I know what takes me in a direction I don't want to be. And it's not even about good or bad. Is that the direction you want to go or not?
Yeah.
If that's not the direction you want to go, this isn't going to help you. Like I hate the term good and bad when it comes to food. Oh, that's bad. No, it's not bad. It's just not going to help you. It's not going to serve your purpose.
Yeah.
A potato isn't bad. A slice of bread isn't bad unless you're trying to lose weight. But if you're not trying to lose weight, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like for people who are trying to put weight on, eat pizza,
I
eat
think
beer.
we put on like all these negative feelings towards those things, right? And so I don't think people can get past that mindset of thinking that, well, it's going to hurt so bad. I have to do that sacrifice that we talked about, right? And they place so many pains with having to eat healthy when really that's all part of that mindset, and just believing. You really have to truly believe that you're making a change for yourself that you want to do. And you want
I had a talk with my PT yesterday. And it is so funny when you talk to people because most people don't do what I do for a living. So they don't hear these conversations as much as I do.
Yeah.
I've been working with women for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
I've heard it all. Okay. And I had to understand, okay, I can either go with them or give them another way to look at this. Because if I don't change the way they look at this, they're going to struggle for their entire lives. So she was sitting there going, well, and I've heard this, well, diet, maybe you should use a different word than diet. And I go, no, I'm not going to use a different word than diet. You need to stop looking at the word diet in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Don't tell them. This is what people want. This is just the truth. People want the world to accommodate their insecurities instead of changing their insecurity. The world's never going to line up for you. The world's never going to go, okay, Idris, if you stand there and Cherie, you stand there. Okay, nobody move. I'm good. I'm good. Nobody move. Idris, you moved. You messed my day up. Like, it's never going to happen. So you have to actually go, okay, how do I fit in this world?
Yeah.
The word diet is about whatever you put in your mouth, whether it's vegetables or it's pizza or it's beer. That's your diet.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad word, okay? Dieting isn't a bad word because sometimes we need to go on a certain type of diet. If I have cardiovascular disease, I need to go on a cardiovascular diet. I need to watch my sodium. If I have, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm diabetic, I have to go on. So the word diet isn't bad, but people make it a bad thing. So in their minds, they're going to make this word all of a sudden, this one word control their entire existence instead of going, no, I just need to eat better. I need to eat a diet that takes me in the direction I want to be in. If I want to lose weight, I need to eat. My diet needs to be equal to weight loss. If I'm going to gain weight, my diet needs to be geared to weight gain. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking this diet and I'm gearing it to what I want. When you do a cookie diet or this diet or those are called fads. It's not a diet. That's a fad because it doesn't work for long.
I love that you use that. I love that you use the word fad every time we talk about this because that's what it is. And people, where that negative feeling towards diets come from.
Yeah, that diet is not a fad. Fad is a fad.
Yeah.
And fad is the cookie diet, the grapefruit diet, the cabbage diet, this diet, paleo diet, blah, blah, blah. Those are all because they don't last. You can't keep doing it. I always tell people you're picking a temporary tool for a permanent solution. You can't keep that going. And what happens to everybody? They go on these things, and what happens? I stopped. Why'd you stop? Because I couldn't keep doing it. Then why did you do it at all?
Exactly.
And why did you do it at all? Well, because my friend says she lost weight real fast. Well, we all know fast weight loss ain't necessarily the best thing, right? Well, yeah. Okay, then why did you do something that made you lose weight really fast when you can't keep up a grapefruit diet? You can't keep up a paleo. You can't keep it up.
Yeah.
So why even start it?
I did a cabbage diet, and I'll say probably my family wouldn't want to live with me for so long after doing the cabbage.
Your family, you don't want to live with you.
That's true. That's true.
You're like, you ever remember that movie Ace Ventura Pet Detective with a Jim Carrey, the first one, when he went in the bathroom and then he stuck out and went to the Shark Tank and got all wet and they was all knocking on the bathroom door and he comes back in and his clothes are all wet and he's like, woo, don't go in there. That's what you feel like every time you leave the bathroom.
It's not a pleasant one to be on. It worked, and I did well on it, but it just proves that it's something that I wasn't ever going to be able to keep up, right? No. None of those fads are ever going to be something that you can keep up. What I would love to change for everybody is help them see that dieting is not about a word. And there's a lot of people that hate on other people for being on diets. And I think it's just because of that negative.
Amazing how many people do that.
And that would be the thing that I would love for most for people who listen to this is just to understand that, okay, if you want to be a certain person or be a certain body type, this is kind of the way that my husband and I have always thought about it with fitness is it's like, okay, well, that person looks really good, right? What are they doing to be at that level? If I want to be able to even think about wanting to look better myself, I got to do the things that even that person does, like the reason why people look the way that they do and are as fit as they are is because they actually are intentionally making it happen. It wasn't just God's gift to them.
It ain't by accident.
Maybe God gave them this great body and they never.
You can look good by accident because I did. When I was working out in my beginning, I looked good because I was working so hard. But then when I tried to be specific, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I just look good because I try really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I stopped getting better. There was a limit because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really understand food. I didn't really understand how to train. I just trained really hard and I was reading books about diet. So I was like, okay, we'll cut this out, cut that out, and this will happen. So I would cut that out and something would happen. I didn't know why it happened. I didn't understand, I didn't understand the details. To me, the biggest problem is people don't understand, like I'm doing with you. I'm trying to teach you why it works.
Yeah.
Why this type of style training works. Why eating potatoes is different than eating yams, which is different than eating oatmeal, which is different than bread, which is different than pasta, which is, why is fish and chicken different? When you eat it, what happens when I eat chicken? What's the process? When I eat chicken, what's the process? What's it all creating? How much insulin is being secreted when I eat this carb as opposed to that carb? And when I do eat this carb, why does that carb put weight on me and this one doesn't?
Yeah.
Come on, that's not easy to know.
No.
And that's all the things that I have to consider when I'm working with you. I have to go, okay, her body type, her age, her gender, her nationality, all those things. Then I go, okay, what has she been doing? Because what she's been doing tells me why she looks like she is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do I have to change it to get to the way she wants to look? What do I have to change from what she's currently doing to get her the way she wants to look? Now, that can't be easy.
No.
Be easy. So if you're in the gym just winging it, that's why you're unsuccessful.
Yeah. And you guys, I love that you just said that because if you guys want to have a personalized program, Coach Idris is the way to do it. Honestly, he has been such an amazing help to me, and it has to be personalized. We've talked about this before, right, Idris, and how you're kind of explaining what you're doing with me, but it's going to be different for every single body type, just like you're explaining. But why don't you tell them a little bit about your group? And I want to post a few of your videos, or at least tag my page so that people can watch the cardio and everything.
I'll tag you on them, and then you can tag from there, I guess, right?
Okay, I think so.
I'll do the clean versus healthy eating, the cardio queens, and I got a couple of mindset videos. But yeah, it's family. It's go to my Facebook page, Idris Wardell. Just go there; it's easiest, and then you can find my group right there at the top. You just click on it. Now, if you look up Idris Wardell, you might see me and my son. My son's name is Idris Wardell, also, but you'll see him. He's a much handsomer young guy. I'm an old guy, so
great singer too.
He's actually the singer. He's the one that she uses his music, actually. She's like, he has so much good. He's really good. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty freaking good.
He has so many different genres. I love it.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, 4 different genres. And good in all of them, ain't he? Jesus.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he was a hard.
Yeah, I also have links to your group on this video as well. So you guys reach out if you want a personalized program with Idris. He's amazing.
Yeah, join the group, go through and look at some of the videos. I'm going to get more active in putting more stuff up. You start running out of subjects, and I don't want to get boring, but I'm going to start putting some more stuff up. Just understanding the thing that's hard for people to get is it's not easy. It really isn't. And learning it the right way the first time is better than doing it wrong forever and having to change your habits.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, because I've had people that have a hard time changing. Like you said, it was hard for me to wrap my mind around eating more is going to lean me out. Eating more is going to make me lean.
It still blows my mind, even though like you described the process. I'm like yesterday I was starving all day and I kept eating, and I'm like, I am going to gain like 5 pounds. Then I woke up and I didn't gain any weight, and it just blows me away. And that's what I love about this topic.
Pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. You're like, man, I can eat all of this and still be fine.
Yeah.
And think about this, and we're still trying to improve you. Once you're where you want to be, that's your life. Like, you can honestly eat pretty much all day long and never gain a pound. That's why I tell people, if you really love food, then you're gonna love this, because I'm gonna show you. We just gotta tell you. We just gotta show you the foods that work for you.
Yeah.
But also you're changing. See, because the way you're doing it, what you're doing now is going to change as you get leaner, because your metabolism is going to be higher, which means we got to change the way you eat. So, and there's also things that, I don't talk about that I do with my program that, I'll be doing with you, but I won't necessarily be discussing them because they're my own little secret recipes.
Yeah.
But it's the supplementation that I recommend.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't know about, that are specifically for women.
Yeah.
And help women with cortisol levels and their hormones, and there's certain supplements that women have to take, because there's about, honestly, 5 or 6 things that make you gain weight. And people only address diet and cardio. They never address all the other 5. Wow. the other 4 or 5. So if you're only addressing 2 of the 5 or 6, that's why your weight's not changing, because there's other things you're not considering.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, when bodybuilders, we address all of it. Every possible thing that can make us retain water, we address.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not just diet and cardio. Think about it. If it was just diet and working out and cardio, everybody would be able to lean out. I see people in the gym all the time doing cardio, working hard, trying to eat better, and they don't lose a pound.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. 80% of the people, 8 out of 10 people go to the gym and don't change.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. And all the people you see in the gym, they're not members. Most of the members don't even come. Gyms survive off the people that don't show up.
Yeah.
I told the gyms when I go, I'm getting my money out of you, boy. I'm getting.
I do remember I had the app for Vasa, and it gave me a reminder. So the last time you checked in was 352 days ago. And I was all, I guess I need to go to the gym. That was an embarrassing day for me. I'm all, yeah, I paid for that.
I'm like, gyms love you. Gyms love people that don't show up. They're like, good, you can keep the lights on without using up our equipment.
Right.
I'm serious. Like, there'll be 5,000 members and maybe 1,000 use it. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a crazy number how many people don't actually use their memberships.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Except for the first of the year, that first 2 weeks of the year.
Oh, yeah. You can't get into the gym. It's like a line. Then by about March, it weeds out. And this time of year, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. It
was a good idea till I sweat, and then it was a little too much.
Hey, Dries, I got a vacation in a month. Can I lose 40 pounds?
Right?
You cut your leg off. That's about 40 pounds.
That's awesome. Well, this has been fun today. I loved everything that we talked about today. I think this was a lot of amazing information for everybody. But thank you so much, Coach Idris. And
you're welcome.
I can't wait for our next conversation. We're gonna have more fun. So
yeah, let's do another workout next week, and then Monday we'll talk about some life stuff. The school shootings and stuff like that. I think that's a subject we can get into because I'm so tired of that.
So heartbreaking. But
okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach Idris. You have a wonderful weekend.
All right. See you guys later. See you on my page. Come to my page, guys.
Yep. Okay, you guys, this was really fun today. I hope that you guys got some of your questions answered. I know that a few of you reached out, and such great information in almost everything I used to do to diet, to lose weight, to gain muscle. Almost everything I was doing was wrong. That's crazy, right? Almost every single thing I was doing was wrong. And I was doing the same things over and over again and trying to get different results. And we all know how that goes, right? But I want you guys to know how amazing Coach Idris is, and you'll get to know him by going to his page and being a part of his group. It is an amazing place to be a part of because he has some great information, and everybody needs to learn it. So I just really want to hope that you guys are still working on your goals. Reach out, let me know what you guys are struggling with because I'd like to help you get the information that you need. And you guys have a wonderful Memorial weekend and keep it up. Keep up the good work. See you guys.